In recent years, I think we've all seen a rise in using our computer for content creation, but not only just finalizing of editing, but using the pretty terrible and lackluster webcams built into them. Well, I'm here today to show off a new app called 𝗬𝗘𝗖𝗞. Now, this app works best on M1 based machines, or I guess M2s. And if we open it up, it even looks like the pre-installed Mac app Photo Booth. 𝗬𝗘𝗖𝗞 is fantastic for both people who are just wanting to up their game a little bit by using your phone's camera wirelessly, or you can start to get a little crazy like adding in this brand new base level iPad, multiple phones, or even your favorite cinema or mirrorless camera. Now in this video, we're gonna keep things pretty simple and talk about beginner's guide to using 𝗬𝗘𝗖𝗞. And then once you finish this video, I'm very soon going to have an advanced guide showing you how to connect your DSLR mirrorless cameras. So first, when we look at the interface, again, it's very simple and clean, and that's one of the reasons I fell in love with it. So many multicam and like live streaming software out there are so complex and they take a long time to set up, and that's just super annoying. So first, we're actually gonna look at the top right of the application, and weirdly, I'm gonna go right to left. Share button, we all know what that does. When we have recordings, this is how you can quickly export things. Right here is a stream URL key, so if you want to live stream your multicams to YouTube, Twitch, or wherever you want, this is where you put that stream data. Once you create a 𝗬𝗘𝗖𝗞 login, this is where your profile is. And to the left of that is going to open up another window, which it has your library. This is where you're going to store your projects as well as your exported videos. We're going to get in more to what this actually means in a few minutes, but for now I'm going to close it. On the left top side, we can see an easy toggle between landscape and vertical content. So if you're trying to make stuff for, TikTok, IG Reels, or any other vertical platform, you can easily check your framing to make sure everything's going to be good to go. But stick around because I'm going to show you how you can actually record for all the different platforms all at once. Now on the bottom, we can see that we have a nice little record icon. We have some playback and some cutting. This is once you actually recorded something, you get different editing functionality. To the right, you have your microphone source. So this is where you're going to choose where your audio comes from. Now, right now, I just have my built-in MacBook microphone, as well as it can use the microphone on my iPhone. Or if you have a USB professional mic hooked up, then you could use that as well. Now, the really important section are our scenes and combo scenes. Think of a regular scene as like a different source. So right now, the stock source is just using my webcam, right? But let's say I want to use my iPhone. Make sure you have the 𝗬𝗘𝗖𝗞 app downloaded on your iPad or iPhone, and you don't really have to do anything. It's just going to look at your Wi-Fi network and see if there's any other 𝗬𝗘𝗖𝗞 devices, which of course there's this Mac one. I'm gonna bring in a little tripod stand here. And when you first open it up, you're just gonna hit scan network for 𝗬𝗘𝗖𝗞 on Mac OS, since I already have that pulled up. It found my MacBook, and so I'm just gonna say connect to device. And then on here, we just get a preview of what the camera is seeing, and that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna put my phone in here real quick, and I'm gonna keep it vertical. Now, the nice thing is, of course, your phone has multiple cameras, and you can utilize those however you want. So now back on my Mac here, I'm going to go to scene. I'm gonna add a new scene. And then you can hover above, and these are your different source options. You can upload an image, you can put just text, you can screen share if you want to show what's on your computer screen, or you can choose camera. In this case, I'm going to choose camera. It's going to show me all my different sources here. If I add in my iPad right now, open up 𝗬𝗘𝗖𝗞 on here, scan network, connect to device, we can see the iPad is now added on here as well. Now, because this iPad is literally brand new, I don't think 𝗬𝗘𝗖𝗞 has been updated to utilize the rear facing camera. Because if we look on my iPhone 14 here, you can see all the different cameras, and I can choose to use the main wide camera. I could go ultra wide, I could go telephoto, or you could go selfie into the front. And if I grabbed my iPad Pro, actually, you know what, why not? Let's do that. I'll open up 𝗬𝗘𝗖𝗞 on here and see that already is connected. We can see on the Mac here that this Ultra has the ultra wide, the wide, or the selfie. And already you can see that if you just have a bunch of old iPhones or iPads lying around, you can have a multicam setup in no time. This was supposed to be the ultra basic setup, but it's so easy to add multiple sources. If I wanted to set this iPad up over here, kind of off screen, I can go to maybe the wide and get kind of this cool, like behind the scenes sort of setup here. And then maybe I want this to show this screen for some reason. So we're gonna have scene 2 be kind of the behind the scenes. I can even go in and rename these. by clicking and typing. I'm going to add in my phone. This will kind of be my main camera, but since everything else is horizontal, I'll go ahead and keep to that here. And I'll put it kind of where my MacBook one is, but it's so much higher quality. And then I'll add one more scene with our iPad facing the front here, because why not? So I'll go ahead and change these real quick. And you could just drag these around too to reorder them. So if I wanted the iPhone to be kind of my front, and then you just use your numeric keys to transition between your different sources. So if I want to go to the iPhone as I'm recording, I'm talking about stuff, then I want to show behind the scenes, I just hit 2. It's going to cut to here, and then I can go 3. And again, right now I'm screen recording on my Mac, so I can't double add a screen recording. I've messed recordings up by doing that before, but again, you can screen share and it would essentially show exactly what you're seeing right now. To delete a scene, you just hit Command Delete. I don't need that. Combo scenes is essentially just adding more than one source in the same viewpoint. So the most common one I would say is if you're doing like a screen recording, but in this case, I'm going to show 2 different cameras. I could have my main one be up here, and maybe I want to switch these. So I'm actually going to put BTS there and the iPhone in the bottom. So now we can see that I'm small in the bottom left corner, and then we see the behind the scenes, and we're just going to leave that down there as a scene. So I can still switch between them as individuals full screen, or I can go to the combo scene here. And you can see all these different layouts for different combo scenes. And this is where it's cool that you can get your landscape and your vertical content all at once. So I can have this 2 up here. And again, normally I would have like my camera and then like computer screen on the bottom, but we're not done with the basics here, because once you've gotten all your different scenes and combo scenes added, if we put our mouse over here again, let's go ahead and add some text. So I'm just going to click here, edit place, name of the channel. And then on the left-hand side, we're going to get some text options. You can change to a couple different types of fonts, your style, center. I'll make the text a little bit bigger even. You can change the color. But my favorite part is the ability to have text automatically go behind you. And so I changed my position to background. We can see it says as soon as we're done editing this text, it will throw it behind us. So I'm going to hit done, and it's instantly behind us. And you can see as I move, it just stays in place. So you could have links behind you, you could have like phone numbers, you could have whatever you wanted behind you, and it's just going to not get in the way of you. And if you wanted a version where you had the text but then didn't have the text, just go ahead and duplicate the scene or add a totally different scene. And on this one, I'm just going to delete this text, and I'm going to change this back to the front. So we'll have this be number 2. And so now I can just switch between not having text or having text. Now, when you're not in the text editor, the left-hand side, you can add different filters depending on if you want to change the style of look, get a little black and white thing going. Depending on the device you're using, you can add some cinematic blur. Let me go back to, so now it's actually blurring out the background, and this just looks so nice. I mean, this is how most Zoom calls and like computer recorded things go, and that just looks terrible. But if we just use our phone, turn on a couple of effects, now you have a really professional looking setup. All right, so now, of course, the fun part is you actually start recording. So I'm just gonna hit record right here, and we can see that the timeline is going to start recording in real time. And if I were to change to any of these other sources, so I'm gonna go to the behind the scenes here, hit 3, we can see in the timeline, it is also changing the source. And I can just go around to different stuff, depending on what we are showing. If I want to try out that combo scene to see both in the background here, and we can just see that we're making a cool little 30-second recording here. If I want to go to the vertical, here we go. We got that. We got vertical content in there. Go back to 1. And if we're wrapping up this recording right here, I'm just going to hit stop. We can see that the timeline stays here. By the way, the projects we were talking about before in our library, all of this automatically gets saved. We can see our project right up here, November 8th, 11:26 p.m. That is this project, and I don't have to like Command S and worry about things getting saved or lost or whatever. The projects are automatically already saved. But jumping back to our timeline here, we can go through and we can, of course, watch this back. So now I'm watching the screen recording of what we already did. And let's say we're watching it right, and at one point we're like, you know what, the webcam wasn't the right choice. That looks really ugly. Just select the clip you want to change the source of. Maybe I'm going to put that back to 1. So I'm just going to hit 1. And so now if I play it back here, we can see it goes there instead of the webcam. And you also get other basic editing stuff. So if you want to completely cut something, say in the middle of this clip, I'm just going to hit the little cut button right there. We can see it splits it in 2. I can go in, I can delete that entirely if it's unnecessary. So now we've finished our project in our video and we want to share it. Of course, you can go up to the export button. You get a couple different options for how you can export it. But if you stuck around and you're into the advanced stuff, I just want to point out in this video that there is an option to export the timeline as a Final Cut XML. This will allow you to take that XML and import it into your favorite professional video editor like Premiere, Resolve, or of course Final Cut. This is huge because although you can do some very great basic editing in here, there are those of us who need to do some much more professional editing in a bigger software. And so exporting as an XML is a fantastic option, which we will look at in the advanced guide. But for most of us who are, just going to social media or just whatever device, you can export. I want to do it as an H.265 in 4K, so I'm going to hit that. I'm just going to hit export, and it's going to do this in the background, and I can even click that and keep working while it is exporting the video in the background, and I can see my little export status up here in the right. So that is the basic introduction to Detail. It's an insanely user-friendly app to use, but very powerful, and we are just getting started. Like I said, the use cases, the setups can get as crazy as you want. So let me know down in the comments below what you would like to see in the advanced guide, whether it's use cases, if you're getting into podcasting, if you're setting up a cooking show or gaming, I know I mentioned those before, or anything else, let me know down in the comments below. And so I can really set this up specially for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.